The Guru Maharaj once said, yes, you're doing bridge preaching, but don't cross the bridge and go on to the other side. Bridge preaching. So you're saying, yes, I'm trying to.
Yeah, exactly. So you do not know, you think, oh, I'm doing it for preaching, but then you may compromise whatever Prabhupada has set as standards at what price, right? Sometimes we think, oh, we are doing it very nicely, and then we don't know, we're actually going away from the standards of Prabhupada until somebody hits us and then say, you're doing wrong. And even then, we may not be convinced until finally, we understand, yeah, what has happened. So that's why your Guru Maharaj said that don't go across the bridge. No, it has happened many times. Even many advanced devotees have made mistakes like that also. Right? They talk about, oh, Prabhupada, is too strict in his way of preaching. People talk like that. They're very advanced devotees too. And then this has happened also in ISKCON, where they said when the guests come, they feel uncomfortable because we're wearing dhoti and sari. So they changed that, and they all started wearing robes, like a Buddhist monk. So even the women and men all started wearing that. And then all the women also shaved up, and and then they were going like that. After a while, they forgot and then they changed the Mangala Arati, Samsara prayers to English. The ocean of material and something like that. So they were, no, don't laugh. This is done by advanced devotees, and finally, it's a lot of problems. And then now also recently, one advanced sannyasi also kept saying that in the spiritual world we are wearing dhoti and sari. So then he is telling all his followers to wear pants and shirt and preach Krishna consciousness. So I don't know, maybe you know. So anyway, this is what happens when you think you know more than the acharya.
So the question is, so can we, in the name of preaching, can we do anything? And if you don't follow the standards, is it good?
No, actually, if you want
and still you're successful, they say the result is.
Maybe initially you'll get something, then in the end you get overwhelmed. The point is, if you want to do anything, it should be consulted with senior Vaishnavas to get their approval. Then you can do. We are not all Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada can do many things. We are not on that level. So whatever we want to do, we think it's a good idea, we should always check with our senior devotees, God bless, what do you think, Guru Dev, what do you think? Like that, your GBC authorities, like that. Then they will tell you, oh yeah, that sounds good, do it. Or they'll say, do it and let's talk about it in a few months, how it goes, and then let's come. And then you'll find that it was this, then they'll understand, okay, actually the idea may be good, but the execution may be wrong. So they'll help you in that way. Or then they'll say the whole idea is not a good idea. Let's withdraw from it. Because in the name of preaching, sometimes we lose our identity. We may lose what Prabhupada is saying. We are still. I'll tell you, I know of a god brother of mine who went to, who was raised in a Sri Vaishnava family. So he was always, he'll talk about Sri Vaishnavism and so on. But then he got initiated, he was doing well. But then he started to doubt, and then he went to the Sri Vaishnava temple all the time. And then this continued for a while, and finally he left the devotees, and then he wrote a letter, and I remember because I was the secretary, he wrote a letter to Guru Maharaj and said, I'm serving at the Sri Vaishnava temple as a pujari and so. My Guru Maharaj knew what was happening already. And then he said, all right, I'll bless you. I hope that you are successful in whatever. Finally, he gave up ISKCON, and then he became a Sri Vaishnava.
Why did he take initiation?
Exactly, right? In the beginning, they read Prabhupada's book, they get enthused, they understand the goal of life is this. And then after that, they start doubting. Same principles. You can't doubt. what Srila Prabhupada has set up. You know? Or, and also I've seen many devotees, young boys from good Indian family, they come and then they come to ISKCON and they get enthused and then they get married and then the wives all from good either Smarta family and then they tell their husbands, look at them, they're dancing, they are not dressed properly, and these boys disappear after a while because their guru is their wife now.
It happened in market also. 2003, like one person was coming very serious and all that. He got married. That's the end of Salman Grandi. Yeah.
So it's how you understand. My point is that philosophy all you have to learn properly. Okay. All right, text 11. Shraddhatsvaitanmatam mahayyam justam yad brahmavadibi enamam abhayam yaya mrityum richanti atadvidaha. My dear mother, those who are actually transcendentalists certainly follow my instructions, as I have given them to you. You may rest assured that if you traverse this path of self-realization perfectly, surely you shall be freed from fearful material contamination and shall ultimately reach me. Mother, persons who are not conversant with this method of devotional service certainly cannot get out of the cycle of birth and death. So very important points here. Yeah? You cannot get out of the cycle of birth and death if you do not do devotional service. Yeah. Particularly for us, what Srila Prabhupada has given us. You have to follow perfectly what Prabhupada has given. Just as he's saying to his mother, perfectly, if you execute, surely you'll be freed from fearful material contamination and reach me, ultimately reach me. Otherwise, we will always be in Kunta, not Vaikunta. Always in anxiety. So, where's Maitreya and Vidura?
The forest.
Which forest?
Somewhere in the northwest.
No. Are they in Vrindavan? No.
No, it was not
With the
mentioned
M
in
Madhu.
Vrindavan.
Somewhere like that. Yeah.
Area.
Yeah.
Because Maitreya Rishi was coming from somewhere. Therefore, it should be. No.
No.
Maitreya was actually there only, right? In the forest.
Yes.
Maitreya was in the forest, but Vidura was coming back from his pilgrimage.
Yes.
No.
After meeting Uddhava.
Yes.
But Uddhava and Maitreya, they were in this almost same place.
Yes. But this was after, no? Then he comes and
Then
then
he comes to Vrindavan and Madhuban.
then he meets Maitreya. Okay. Maitreya Vacha
Maitreya Vacha
Iti Pradashya Bhagavan
Iti Pradashya Bhagavan
Satim Tam Atmanogatim
Satim Brahmanogate
Swamatra Brahmavadinya
Samatra Brahmapadinya
Pilonu Mato Yayau.
Kapilo
Sri Maitreya said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kapila, after instructing his beloved mother, took permission from her and left his home, his mission having been fulfilled. Just like that. So his mission, Prabhupada says, was to distribute the transcendental knowledge of Sankhya philosophy, which is full of devotion service. Which means he must have taught also to others. Okay? Or whilst he was speaking to his mother, there were others also. You can understand like that also. Okay, then Prabhupada writes, having imparted that knowledge to his mother and through his mother to the world, which means there may be others sitting there also. Kapila had no more need to stay at home. So he took permission from his mother and left. Apparently, he left home for spiritual realization, although he had nothing to realize spiritually, because himself is the person to be spiritually realized. So, what is this he's trying to do?
Sitting the example.
Setting example. Yad. Therefore, this is an example set by the Supreme Personality of Godhead while acting like an ordinary human being so that others might learn from him. He could, of course, have stayed with his mother, but he indicated that there was no need to stay with the family. It is best to remain alone as a brahmachari, sannyasi, or vanaprastha and cultivate Krishna consciousness throughout one's whole life. That means give yourself some time, don't take vanaprastha when you are about to fall. No, honestly, you plan your lives now and then make sure you have chance to go preach, give presentations of Krishna consciousness wherever you go. You'll feel, you'll become very happy actually doing that. Because family you keep in touch, but it should be thread-like,
Vivekanandan Prabhu in our temple, he did exactly that. Just at the cusp of when his daughter was getting married, he took Vanaprastha.
That's nice, yeah.
He followed the principle actually.
He was saying another devotee also.
The same, he was mentioning
that's it. What is that? Some ecstasy there. Maybe she was sleeping.
It's good.
She started cooking better.
Right?
They make halwa.
We are only hearing halwa.
Halwa
is not manifested.
Badangi.
Coming.
He's coming a bit tough.
Okay, so plan your lives. You all of you are doing preaching now, but then you have to plan to take up vanaprastha also. Vanaprastha means you travel, husband and wife can travel and preach like that, or separately.
Actually, only in ISKCON we have examples. Otherwise, we don't have examples anymore.
Where you don't have any. This is the only way. No, others can talk, but nothing to show. We can talk and we can show.
Show off or show? Just show.
Show example. Others can talk and show off their knowledge, but we can talk, not so much knowledge, but we can show that it works. It's true, right? Yeah, you can see.
So it's important for women also, Prabhu, to travel, or she should stay back with the grown-up son or something. If husband takes her,
You'll have a hard time which one to choose.
Oh, yeah.
It is possible if you are not capable of preaching, then you stay with your sons if they are willing to keep you. Well, this is Kali Yuga. No, I do not know the
It
future.
happened in one of my family members, slightly distant. None of the sons was willing to take care of the mother.
Exactly my point.
So she took some money from my
Prabhu,
wife
that's very normal actually.
and some cash, and then she went on a pilgrimage. She went to Kurukshetra, she went to Dwarka, then she became very widely travelled because of that reason. So later on she was appreciating that she was kicked out.
Oh, nice.
So she travelled all the Punya Kshetras.
No, in our movement also there is place like even in the Dham they have for ladies. Yeah, so there's opportunity. If you want to really do service, it will come to you. Krishna will open the doors for you. Yeah.
When you go to Dham, we see so many old ladies.
Yes.
Outside every
Just
temple.
chanting and begging.
No, these days you can find the other people more like in small numbers, right? Who really take care. But people who kick out, that's actually normal.
That's the normal.
Now it's becoming normal. Yeah. No, they get
take out
kicked
all
out.
the money. And
No,
then
they put them in what old age homes, and then they hope they die, right?
They are coming up. And these people actually send money from here and
There are senior communities coming up in India.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It will come more and more bigger, but ultimately those communities has to be maintained by devotees nicely, and you need young people to maintain old people, right? So you need to set up hospice care. Yeah, even here, because sooner or later all of you will need some care. Right? So you all also have to think far ahead. This is like 10 years. I think in 10, 15 years you all will be needing some of you. Some of you, not all. Yeah, you think everyone is going to be fit? Some of you will get, due to your past karma, you will have to suffer. I've seen people at 55, 60 also suffering a lot. Arthritis, bone dissolving, all those things. Or some people will die. Yeah, so you need hospice care. So don't think it's not going to happen. Prabhupada was in his deathbed. He was telling his disciples, "Don't think this won't happen to you." Yeah. Text 13. Sachapi tana yuktena yoga deshena yoga yuk tasmin ashrama apide Sarasvatya samahita. As instructed by her son, Devahuti also began to practice bhakti yoga in that very ashram. She practiced samadhi in the house of Kardama Muni, which was so beautifully decorated with flowers that it was considered the flower crown of the river Saraswati. Okay, so you can take shelter of Devahuti. She did not leave her house because it is never recommended for a woman to leave her home. She is dependent.
That's
Very
why
example.
I was sharing with Prabhu, then he was telling, wife has to be always dependent, then if she starts traveling, who will take care of her? Please stay with your sons, used to.
If you are preaching, Krishna will take care. So it's not like you can't be.
Some other ISKCON they travel.
Yeah, they travel and preach. No, it's not wrong. They are renounced. Anyway, this yoga is so mixed up, messed up. And by doing this preaching, hopefully in the future, the next few generations will follow properly. But then there must be some sacrifice in the beginning. So she is dependent. The very example Devahuti was that when she was not married, she was under the care of her father, Swayambhuva Manu, and then Swayambhuva Manu gave her to Kardama Muni in charity. She was under the care of her husband in her youth, and then a son, Kapila Muni, was born. As soon as the son grew up, her husband left home, and similarly the son, after discharging his duty towards his mother, also left. She could also have left home, but she did not. Rather, she remained at home and began to practice bhakti yoga as it was instructed by her great son, Kapila Muni. And because of her practice of bhakti yoga, the entire home became just like a flower crown on the river Saraswati. I mean, she could have asked, right, Kapila Muni, just take me back, Right? Why I have to do all these things? But because to set examples. Otherwise, people won't do any sadhana practice. They'll all say, "Oh, when the Lord wants, He will take me back." That's what will happen, right? Now they are talking like that. Oh, He knows. Bhagavan, He knows. He's in my heart. Yeah, everything. You rascal. He told me. He also is in my heart. He told me you should do this.
But it's very interesting, Prabhu. Dhruva Maharaj actually took his mother
Yes.
along with him, but Kapila Muni didn't.
That's why I'm saying sometimes you'll ask that, but there's a reason behind for those two different circumstances. But here she's performing to finish and become a pure devotee. That Dhruva Maharaj was already pure, and then it was
Another thing is here it's the Lord Himself. He has
instructed.
to set the right example.
Yes, yeah. As a child, and Dhruva Mother's was already doing devotional practices also. Yeah, so she was already also qualified. Text 14. Abhikshnavagaha kapishan Jatilan kutilalakan Atmanam chobra tapasa Bibrati chirinam krishnam. She began to bathe 3 times daily, and thus her curling black hair gradually became grey. Due to austerity, her body gradually became thin, and she wore old garments. So she has taken up renunciation. So she was a princess, then she became a wife of a powerful yogi, and then finally, when everything is done, she has no maidservants, all gone. Imagine she was in such an amazing position. But she's a fascinating lady because she was able to give up. And she wasn't attached to all these things, She didn't ask her son how to take birth, to go to heavenly planets, enjoy. No, she didn't want all that. She wanted to go back. So she learned all these austerities from her husband. First time she came home, he just left her in a corner and she just do the service. And because she was a pure person, she didn't get angry. She's a Kshatriyani, right? Daughter,
from
like,
rich family.
and it's a rich family. She didn't think like. She said, I should serve my husband. And then because of that, she got the boon from him also. So she knew what austerity was. Severe austerity. So now then it's easy for her.
In one lecture I heard for 12 years, Kapila Muni did not even notice she was.
Yeah.
That's how she served. Whatever he needed, she gave, and he didn't even notice she
Exactly. And she didn't feel hurt, or even present day the woman would have filed for divorce in 1 week, right? And take 90% of the guy's property. So they have all these stupid things, right? Pre-nuptial clause, then post-nuptial clause. Oh, nonsense, all this. What a life going on. So here you look at her, it's just an amazing example. It's so embarrassing for us if we can't even do simple things like worshipping, and we have all the facilities. Prabhupada writes, to be too fat is not very good for spiritually advanced life. Rather, one should reduce, because if one becomes fat, it is an impediment to progress in spiritual understanding. One should be careful not to eat too much, sleep too much, or remain in a comfortable position. Okay, that is why we have to lose weight and take up
Spiritual process.
austerities, or rather vairagya.
What is the connection between weight and this?
Yeah.
It makes the body
Because obesity, right? It
Yeah.
leads to
Then
all
thin
problems.
also should be applicable.
Lethargic.
That's why he says too much, or sleep too much, or eat too much.
Anything in moderation.
But eat less.
Yeah, actually you eat less and less until you don't become attached to the body. That is normal. But where we find a person keep eating and then liberated like that. I haven't read it yet.
That was the introduction to Krishna consciousness. But after
Yeah,
that,
you get
have to reduce.
introduced to Krishna consciousness like that, but then that is not.
It's not
Thus far, I haven't heard anyone who has started eating, who grow fat and liberated.
In one,
Say in the class that nobody becomes sick by eating
less
less.
sick.
They become sick by
Yes.
eating more.
Yeah. So that's one of the reasons he said.
in one lecture, one quote my husband was telling me, Prabhupada is telling that our actual business is to actually make our need for eating, sleeping, and mating and defending zero.
Yes,
But we
Prabhupada
don't say
says
that openly.
Prabhupada says that. He said there was one incident where he couldn't eat, I think, or something like that. So he said, mating is finished when he took sannyas like that, something like that. And then he said, now even eating is gone like that. Defending is gone long time ago, give up on that. Sleeping, already he can't sleep. He said he's given up that. Now finally eating is gone. But when he was towards the end, he couldn't even eat. So it's like that. So if you take out voluntarily, then it's easier.
I think Bhakti Maharaj was telling when he was in
Yeah.
towards the end he would Prabhupada told him that okay, now it's time to go to my eating is going down, it's
Yes.
time to go to Vrindavan.
Yes. So
So
he
they
was
were in
saying,
Varanasi and they immediately decided to go to
Yeah.
Vrindavan. He just started taking water. That's it.
so if you voluntarily you do that, it becomes easier. Not that when you become old and very, decrepit, it becomes difficult to give up because you'll be hankering for those things, but you can't take it, and that becomes very difficult. But if you voluntarily cut down everything, then you can control your senses properly. I don't think Prabhupada is talking about people who are naturally fat. Right? There's difference. Some people are like that. He's talking about unnecessarily eating and becoming fat. At least that's how I see this. So voluntary accepting of penances and austerities is in all yoga, not just in bhakti yoga.
It's very important, practicing after certain age, stopping work, giving up some
Yeah, all this is
positions and all these things.
yeah.
It's
So
very difficult to give up.
this is what Kapila Muni is telling his mother. All this has to be given up. And now Maitreya Rishi is explaining further what happened and why it's important. Right? Devavati can still make nice laddus and kachoris and eat, right? But no, she wasn't interested in all those things. She wasn't. Her main focus was devotional practice, more and more. So at a certain time in our lives, we have to plan. Irregardless, you can't say I will save $2.621 million and then I will retire and everything will be okay. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Because there are many old people who, their appetite and their taste for things, it increases more. They want to eat more variety.
They want to, but they can't.
Yeah, but they still want to eat because.
Yeah. As you grow old, you will see. In fact, you can, if you meet old people, you find they'll be taking like 6-7 medication. Right? One for sugar, one for blood pressure, one for heart, one for digestion, one for breathing, one for sleeping, right? Or 3 tablets for vitamin, osteoporosis, calcium needs, this need, that need. It's terrible. Whole day looking at time and popping pills. That is the sadhana. They make you do sadhana in this culture. Is that okay? And then in the beginning, the doctors will all be saying, yes, we'll test this, test that, test. And then after a certain age, they don't want. They'll say, no, this is like that. This is like that. No, it's true. Because statistically, they know that this is not worth the effort on their part. So they are not caring anymore. So you will see. You can experience that. If you experience like Devavati, then you don't have to worry.
In India, cancer patients above 70 are not given any treatment.
There you go.
They are
Yeah.
as good as dead.
Yeah. So
It's
say,
better let
it's
them
not
enjoy
worth
the
it.
rest of their life than
Because they are
suffer.
not contributing
Doing
much
chemo
to
and all that.
society, so let them die. It's a more civilized way of telling them get lost. In the old, like I was saying, in the Papua New Guinea or wherever, they will take the old people, they either kill them or put them on the roof to die. Then they will come back later and eat them. Yeah. Eat them. Because they have wisdom, right? So by eating, they say they get the wisdom. So this is how this culture is, indirectly. So, we may be more polished, but we are doing the same thing. Only thing, we may not eat these people. But who knows? When I was young, there was a movie called Soylent Green, where this whole planet was suffering in food. But somehow or other, this company was producing this green wafer bars for people to eat. So finally, at the end, in the story, they get into this factory and they see what they're doing. All those people who die, they put them through the cycle machine and then they extract all the protein and blah, blah, and make this green bars where people are eating. So it's not like it's not happening. In some ways, it is happening. People are using your sewage, right? You're already recycling sewage. So it'll be, before long they will want your bodies and so on. The government will push to like, no, you should put these bodies, no more burying because we have no more land. So, and then you'll have different unscrupulous people who say, all right, we'll bury you, you pay some money, we'll bury you in special places, but they actually take and throw in the same factory or whatever. It's all going to happen. So, all right, text 15. Prajapate kardamasya tapo yoga vijrimbitam swagarhastyam manopamyam pratyam vaimanikharapi. The home and household paraphernalia of Kardama, who was one of the Prajapatis, was developed in such a way by dint of his mystic powers of austerity and yoga that his opulence was sometimes envied by those who traveled in outer space in airplanes. There's a description of his house. So, he's a pure devotee of Krishna. So Krishna has given him the ability to build an amazing palace, flying airplane palace, whatever house he had. And even that, the demigods, some of them were envious. So like, how this yogi needs this and we don't have like that.
Garuda.
Huh?
Garuda Airlines.
Garuda Airlines. It's the reason why this is explained is to show how Devahuti wasn't attached to this. At 16, Payafena nibasaya Danta Rukma Parichadaha Asanani cha haimani Susparshashtaranani cha. The opulence of the household of Kardama Muni is described herein. The bedsheets and mattresses were all as white as the foam of milk. So milk must be very white. I don't know, the milk here must not be white. The chairs and benches were made of ivory and were covered by cloths of lace with golden filigree. I don't know what filigree means. And the couches were made of gold and had very soft pillows. Maybe filigree means it's like strands.
It's very like fine.
Fine.
Like net type of work.
Okay.
But with metal.
Ornamental work of fine wire formed into delicate.
Okay, thank you.
That's what Krishna is.
Google. Text 17. Swacha spatika kudyeshu Mahamara kateshu cha Atna pradipa avanti Lalana radna samyutaha. Okay. The walls of the house were made of first-class marble that were valuable jewels. There was no need of light, but the household was illuminated by the rays of these jewels. The female members of the household were all amply decorated with jewelry. So anyway, this is the household of Kardama. I'll stop here. And how many people are taking tests this weekend? Nobody.
So the second canto is this weekend.
Yes. No.
No, no,
She took already.
I can take over.
You sure?
But who else is taking it?